This is a Civitas Legislative Report. I'm here with the Civitas Budget and Tax Analyst, Brian Balfour. Brian, let's talk about this budget that the governor just signed. Um, Now, they tout a lot of cuts. They said it's a lot of deep cuts in the agencies and that sort of thing. But they've still got a problem they're going to have to face after they leave town if the federal government doesn't come through with some federal funds. Explain what those funds are and what would happen.
Right, exactly right. What the question here is about $560 million in enhanced Medicaid funds that is yet to be approved by the U.S. Congress. So what lawmakers did was in the budget that they passed the budget assuming those funds would come down to the state to help finance primarily Medicaid expenses for the state. But they did put in place a contingency plan in which they would take funds from various pots of money and reductions in, for instance, the contribution to the state pension plan.
Let's talk about that pension fund for a minute because the state treasurer Janet Cowell is kind of concerned about that. It's not going to keep up with what the pension needs to keep up with what its requirements are going to be down the road, right?
Right, absolutely, and that comes on in a hurry. The state treasurer Cowell actually was warning that even as soon as next year, if this contingency plan raids some of the pension funds that are supposed to go in this year, even beginning next year, the contributions to keep the state pension fund fully funded could increase up to as much as $1 billion or more.
Now, at the same time, this budget takes on more debt, and the treasurer has in the past, and her the previous treasurer, Richard Moore, cautioned the legislators about this. They're approving more debt that is not going to be voter approved, and that's a long-standing trend now with this legislature, right?
Right, absolutely. It's been a decade now since the year 2000 where state voters have been allowed to vote on an issuance of new state debt, and certainly the most recent reports coming from the state treasurer's office have warned against the state issuing any new debt at all, and certainly these kind of certificates of participation, which are come with a higher interest rate and kind of skirt the legal requirement of requiring a vote on it. She certainly warned against issuing more of that as well. That could actually put the state's bond rating in jeopardy.
Yeah, that warning has come constantly from the state treasurer over the last few years. Now, a lot of the, especially the Democrats, touted this budget as a jobs creation budget. Is that the impression you get?
Well, I fail to see where it's really going to hit the mark in terms of job creation. Really what they do is take a lot of status quo programs, particularly in the Department of Commerce, a number of corporate welfare programs that have really proven to be ineffective in the past. They kind of dump some more money into those programs, and then they also offer this tax credit to small businesses that they're touting it, which is really just would take a small credit against their unemployment insurance liability. But it's really small, number one, and number two, it's temporary in nature. It would be set to expire at the end of 2011, which really, to me, means that it's not really going to provide much incentive for entrepreneurs and business owners who are more long-term looking. It's not going to provide much incentive for them to make the commitment to hire more employees.
Now, despite what they did with this budget, whoever takes over in the next session in January, that's the long session, and then begin the process of putting together a new 2-year budget, a biennial budget, they're already in a hole, whoever is in control next time, right?
Right. They're inheriting a hole that could be up to $3 billion, and that's because of the federal stimulus dollars are going to expire, and also the temporary taxes that they enacted last year, those are going to expire there as well. So it could turn out to be a very long session as the budget writers scramble to try to figure out how they're going to replace as much as $3 billion in revenues.
It's kind of like Mike Easley when he came in, he said he felt like the dog that caught the car.
Right.
That's the way they'll feel, probably. Well, that's the Civitas Legislative Report. I'm Matt Willoughby.